Imagine your business so efficient that your Instagram conversations seamlessly flow into your CRM, automating your entire customer interactions and boosting your operations like never before. In this video, I'll be introducing you to supercharged engagement with Manychat, Instagram, and your CRM. In this video, we'll unlock the secrets to transforming your social media into powerful leads and even greater revenue. Let's get started. What you are looking at is how you can use Instagram to capture your leads and nurture your leads until they become actual buying customers. So today we'll look at how you can capture the leads using Manychat. You can use that to get initial information on your potential clients, and then you can feed all of that information into your CRM system, and then through that you can then manage them through your normal CRM, email marketing solutions, or put them in under different campaigns. What you're looking at here is a Manychat solution where a client makes a comment in Instagram. The user makes a comment on a post or a reel. We capture the client's name. We then capture their email address. And with that email, we pass all that email information, including some other clarifying and categorization information. We pass all that useful customer information into our CRM. In our case, it's Airtable that we're using. And then with that Airtable, we're also tying some personal information that's useful for first-time buyers, for instance, and then that's emailed to the client. So from the very beginning, we're providing some value to the customer, and we help use that, or that helps us keep them engaged and keep them front of mind for when they're ready to purchase. If they're ready to purchase really quickly, we make contact with them immediately. So here we've got different categories so people who are ready to complete within 90 days, 3 to 6 months, 6 to 12 months, or over a year. We can use that to determine what kind of customer they are and how soon they'll be generating revenue for our company. But the key thing today is, let us look at the automation that's possible, how we can tie in AI and use AI to provide the useful information that I've just mentioned earlier. So let's get started. So we wouldn't go through this entire flow in today's session, but I'll show you an example as how it works and demo the Instagram test cases. So go to automation. Let's start from scratch. Let's get this. So I'm going to start from scratch, something very, very basic. So if we look at, just one second, let me just get this information right here. What would be useful is to start with a trigger. I'm just getting my notes ready on the left hand side so I don't miss anything. But we'll try and make this as quick as we can and make it so and do it so that you understand what we're trying to accomplish. Now, a few days ago, if not 2 weeks ago, I did something similar with a chatbot or an AI agent on your website. So this is the Instagram equivalent of the same solution. So I'll build out the Instagram side, and then we'll refer back to what we generated with the website chatbot, and it's roughly similar once we get into the automation stage, which is the other tool that this ties into. But all of this is done using AI, especially the bit that generates the PDF and the information that we send to the client. Now let's begin. So let's begin with how we want to trigger this automation to get started. So let's start with the user sends a message. So you've got different options within Instagram if you're using Manychat. So user clicks an Instagram ad, the user comments on your post or reel, any one of those things. So we can either do user sends a message or user comments. Let's go with user comments, because then I don't have to create something new. So user comments on your post or reel. So these are reels that I currently have within the AutoRe account. I'd say all posts or reels, and I'll say continue. So let's select. So you have to decide what would trigger the automation, what words. So this is where you see typically people would say DM AI in the comment section, or send me a message and make sure you have a certain word in there. So for us, we would say AI is a word. Then we can just put uppercase just in case, and then we can say auto re. Okay, and we can go to there and say auto re, and then which other word? It could be anything. Automation. Okay, brilliant. So these are the trigger words. So anyone coming to your site and to your Instagram account and comments on one of your posts saying AI or automation, that will trigger the automation. So we now say continue. Okay, so would you like to? No, we don't want a public reply on the feed. So we'll save that. So that's the trigger done. So what happens next? Now the next thing we'd say is, right, the client or potential lead has left us a message. We'll then say, okay, let's see what we'll do next. We'd say, hey, we don't know their name at this stage, so we'll have their Instagram name. Let's see, hey, Insta. So Instagram username, that's that. Let's say thanks for your message. I would love to send you more information on automation, or if it's a real estate agent, you can say send you more information on let's say on the property in this thread. Let's just do that. Okay, and then for us to just get started, essentially we could say, well, hit the button if you are ready. Okay, so then we'll go to the button and then say, yes, I want more info. Right. So when the button is pressed, what happens? Okay, the button's pressed. Yeah, so I clicked Instagram. So when the button is pressed, we then go to another message, and this one we want to get a bit more information from the client. So we would explain what we're trying to do. We'll say, okay, and this one is not your typical Instagram message. We want to collect user input. So we say we want user input. We remove this field here. We'll then say sometimes usernames and first names don't match. What is your first name? So we'll then say, what is your first name? So here we'll then say we're expecting some input from the keyboard. What is it we're expecting? We're expecting the first name. So we've essentially mapped the information that's been provided at this stage to the first name field, and this is all crucial for the automation that comes downstream. So we do that, and that's the first name allocated, and then we thank them. So we say thanks, first name. Yeah, if it's done correctly, then the first name should populate based on what we've said. I will send you first time buyer information, right? And it's anything along those lines. then we'll go, so first time buyer information. So at this point, we want to now get their email address. So we ask, we'll say, right, what's the best email to send this to? Right, okay. And then we'll go in here, we map it to email. Brilliant. So that's there now. Okay. So the other thing that tends to happen is sometimes people make mistakes when they type their emails. So you might want to just ask them to confirm that the email address is correct. So we say, we just raise a text field and say, cool, I'll send this information to your email. Okay, so that's that. Is this correct? Okay, right, fine. And then because we know the answers to this are either yes or no, we could just do a couple of quick replies here. So the first quick reply would be yes, and then do another one, no. Okay, so those are the two options you've got. Right, so let's just do a quick recap. So we haven't really done some of the most crucial bits here. But the first thing is the user makes a comment on one of our posts or reels, and then we say, okay, can you confirm really that you want this information? They click yes. It's just really a security thing, but this is probably not always necessary. So yes, they say yes. And then once they click yes, we'll ask them for their first name, we get their first name, and then we'll ask them for their email address. Now, I'm cutting this whole question and answer session really short, because at this point, you already know that the person wants the information you're about to send. But the great thing about Manychat is it gives us some other things that we can add, some other validation steps that we can use, and this is where it's slightly better than your usual other chatbots. Now, with this, we can now say, right, if the contact has not responded for a long time, you can actually get them to respond or get them to prompt them again just by sending them a standard message, and just say, click there, we then say, hey, you have not provided your first name, so gentle reminder. And then let's put an emoji so they know it's not, it's a non-threatening request. Where's the wink? Okay, let's use that. Yeah. So that's that. So this sort of brings the request up to the top of their feed, so they see that we're still waiting. So let's go in here, and then. So here you're waiting for the reply from the contact. So if the contact has not responded, we want to do the same thing again. So with these two things here, we would just make a duplicate. But the difference here is the contact is not responding after they've given their first name. So we can utilize the information that we already have and say. And say, hello, first name, and then we're saying, hello, first name, you have not provided your email. Okay, so they've not provided your email address, so that's brilliant. We've got that done. And then over here, we do want to make sure that after they've provided their email, if they say yes, it's correct, right? To the next stage, and then the next stage. Just 1 second. Let's get this going. Right. Okay. So if it's a no, so basically we're asking them to confirm their email. So is your email correct? If it's not correct, all right, let us know. If it is correct, well, brilliant. So we then say, not to worry, let's re-request the email. It's going to be another user input box, and it's okay. That's not a problem. So what's the correct email to use? I'm in this. Right. So again, we'll look at the keyboard, the free keyboard input, and we were trying to get their email address. Right. So we'll assume they wouldn't make a mistake. Again, we've got their email nonetheless. So that's that there. And then if the email is correct and they confirm that it's correct, we can then go to our next question, which is where we ask them what areas they're sort of interested in. Okay, so where would you like to buy your next house? So the key functionality I want to add here is that even though we're asking them these questions, we want to also provide some level of guidance. So as a real estate company, you're not real estate for the entire world. So sort of you can shape what they might want or what they might be after by providing different quick replies here. So let's add the first quick reply. This one would be, let's say Milton Keynes. Machine's running a bit slow. There's so much happening at the same time. So type slower. So Milton Keynes. Let's add another. Say London. And just say here, just say somewhere else. Okay, so this is fantastic, right? Why is it fantastic? Well, the reason it is that we can now use this to essentially group the user or add the user to a specific category. So what we'll do is for this right here, after they've provided their email, we'll make the assumption that they don't make another mistake. So we connect this in, and then okay, so we now have we've got the user's first name, we've got their email address, we've verified that their email address is correct. Now we're asking them where they're interested in. Now this is the bit that's quite useful. Let's say they tell us they want to be in Milton Keynes, right? Now what I would want to do here is add a tag to this user so that they are they're grouped under Milton Keynes. So this all depends on how you want to set your backend up. But this right here is just to show you the different functionalities that you can have. So what I'm going to do here is give a tag to this user and say they're Milton Keynes, and then we're going to ask them how soon they want to move, and then we'll tag them as well there. So what would happen is when this gets written into the backend database, you'd see that this particular client is interested in Milton Keynes, and also when they would want to move. So to tag the user is actually it's an action. So I click on action, and then we need to choose what action we want to do. And then the action here would be to add tag. And now this tag will not exist. So what we do is let's put the tag as Milton Keynes. I don't know why I keep using Milton Keynes, but anyway, when I type in Milton Keynes, it doesn't exist, so no tag with such name is found. We then click to add the tag, so we now say create. So that tag is now created. Right now, what I found was I couldn't determine how to pass this onto the automation stack. So the only way I found to do it was to add another action. So let's do that. So I set a user field. So this user field comes all the way across to our automation. So what's the user field? Now I click on unknown field. So type the user field Milton Keynes. Let's say, let's call this user field area of interest. Right. So we add a user field, and then create new user field. Oh, okay. So this area of interest. Yeah. So is it okay, so let's create that. Right, so it's created a field. Set area of interest to okay, so we set the area of interest to Milton Keynes. Right. Okay, so we're just going to follow the Milton Keynes path. So we've tagged the user, and then we've added the area of interest. Then the next set of questions we want to ask We can complete this another time so that the video doesn't stay for too long, and as the laptop is really running slowly, we need to get a move on. Right, so the next question is when would you like to move? So again, with this one, we want to specify the number of options they have. If we leave it open, like the web chatbot version that I created, the person can put 2 hours, 5 days, whatever. But here, let's be more deterministic, so we know what's going to come to the back end. And for property purchases or any kind of huge purchase, you do want to define when they were moving. So in this one, we're saying within 90 days. We got within 90 days, and we've got this other one that's going to be 3 to 6 months. Do 6 to 12 months. And it'll say 1+. Yeah, so this is just giving you an idea as to how you could do this with your own system, or if you're working with any agencies, you want to tell them that these are things that you want. So that's done. So when would you like to move? Let's just pick the top one as well for this one. So this is somebody that's interested in Milton Keynes. So within 90 days. Now here again, we want to tag. Now this one's really important, because at the back end, what we're trying to do is nurture these clients, and we want to identify which one of these clients is more serious and ready to move. Now on the web version that I did of this, I also asked questions about whether they have a solicitor already in place and whether they've got financing in place. And using those two questions and answers, we can determine if we can utilize any affiliate links we have, or affiliate business relationships we have. You can refer them to a solicitor and get paid. If they go with that solicitor, you can refer them to a lender and also get paid. So these are other options where you can monetize this potential lead even further. So on this one, we're going to tag this user and set a user field, so that when it goes into the back end, we can put this particular client in the correct category and make sure we nurture this client correctly. So first things first, when do you want to move? We add a tag. And the tag is within 90 days. So this is one I've made earlier. And then, right, then we also want to set the custom field, or the user field. So unknown field, which means undefined. So we want a new field. Oh, okay, I've got a tag there already. To move in 90 days. So some of these tags are from other automations that I've done. 90 days. Okay, so that's that. And then our next step would be to say, well, that's brilliant. What do we want to do next? We thank them for the information, and we then say, just looking at my other screen, just make sure that I've got the key aspects there. And then again, we just want to say, so that's brilliant. So we thank them. Thanks for thanks for the useful information. I will be sending a So the value we're adding here is that we're sending them a report on first-time buyers and what first-time buyers need to have in place in order to utilize or in order to make their purchase a lot smoother. Because as you can imagine, most people who are buying a property for the first time will be nervous. They don't quite know what needs to be in place or what they need to be doing, and all we need to do is just calm their nerves, give them the step-by-step process, and that should do it. Now, this will be done by ChatGPT, and I'll show you the flow that I used for one of my other used for the web version that I did of this. So we add a little delay just to keep the user engaged. I think in reality you'd probably want to just maybe wait for 23 hours or 24 hours, which is the default. But in our case, we'll probably just wait for let's just wait for 20 seconds, and then the point of waiting is or reintroducing the automation into their feed is so that they can check their junk mail, check whatever happens with their email address to make sure that they've received the reports that you sent. So after we've added a smart delay, so in reality you probably want to just wait maybe a few hours or a day, but in our case we'd say right, actually, before we do this here, what we want to do is, so we'll maintain this, but what we're trying to do is say, so we want an action. So the action we want to introduce here is a trigger make. So this trigger make is really for us to trigger the automation. So once the automation is triggered, the next step is for us to say, okay, cool. Have you received the email? Okay, so we're saying here, so here we're saying, hey, so we're saying, hey, hope all is well. Did you receive containing, or I'll just say, did you receive the first time buyer report? Right, so we've got this, and then here you'd want to do 2 quick replies again, and then we just say yes, and no. And then you can imagine what happens if they say yes. You want to say, "Oh, great! What did you think?" Or if they say no, you say, "Well, check your junk mail. Do you want us to resend?" And then you can handle that whole process here. So this whole setup can actually go on for very long, and in reality, it does do, and that's why you use people who actually understand what needs to happen and would work with you to understand what your business is hoping to achieve with this solution. So just taking us to the beginning, how this is supposed to work, and we'll test it right now. So how this is supposed to work is that a user makes a comment within one of your Instagram posts or reels, and what we're looking for are specific words, either AI or automation or a buyer or something like that. Actually, let me select this so that you can see it for yourself. So we want either AI, auto-re, or automation. Once we get one of those words in any part of the response, we'll then say, hey, using their Instagram name, thank you for your message, and then we'll ask them if they really want to receive the information. If they say yes, what we then do is we gather some of their credentials, so their first name and email address, and then once we've gotten those bits of information, we'll then send it on to Make, and then Make would handle the automation. And part of the automation would be to generate the first-time buyer report, one of which I generated earlier today, and would have a look at one that we made earlier. But this is the flow that you can adopt for any one of your clients. And if you're one that's doing a lot of marketing on Instagram, this can be done. Your automation can be set in such a way that if somebody responds to the advert, they're taken through this workflow and then pushed into your backend CRM, and then your CRM can handle the rest, and you can nurture them to become a paying client. So let's see if this does what we want. Okay, so we're doing a preview. Hey, IG name, thanks for the message, blah, blah, blah. Yes, I want more info. Okay, so let's put that there. Good. What's the best email address? Let's do that, email tester.com. Just go there, and then cool, I'll send this information to you. Is this email correct? So you say yes. Which area are you interested in? I'll say Milton Keynes. When are you ready to move? So I'm following the flow that we've defined. That's brilliant. Thanks for the useful information. I'll be sending a report on the process. Hey, hope all is well. Did you get? So there's been a smart delay of 20 seconds, but of course, we're testing it here, and then that's it. So this ends the automation here. So let's kill this and see if we can replicate this in Instagram itself. Was that Messenger or Instagram? Okay, so with Manychat, you can say test in the automation itself. So I've selected Instagram itself. So we're going to preview it now. Don't think I have to set it live for it to work. Okay. Button title must be less than, oh, okay. So let's reduce this. Okay, so it's complaining about the length of this title. Interesting link complaint earlier. I thought I just got it in. All right, so yeah, let's just do that. Okay, so that's done there. Should we go again? Do you have to? Oh dear. Okay. Right. Okay, it wants me to have. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll just connect all of these options to the Milton Keynes flow so that we can get on with the testing. Okay, let's go preview again. I suppose that's a good thing because you can test. You can test locally, but if you decide to go onto Insta, it doesn't want you to have orphaned flows. So this is really just purely for our test purposes. Okay, I think it's going to complain about one of my quick replies. Yeah, I knew it. So, what was the... What do we have here? So yeah, we'll just say thanks. And then with this one, we'll just say so we'll then confirm here where the email was sent to. So I've put that. Okay, so let's see again. Let's try the preview. Oh. Wrong hook. Oh, okay. I didn't complete the hook. So Manychat webhook. Cool. Right. So that should do it. Aha. So now we're ready to go. Actually, before I do that, let me set this to expect the information we're going to send. So here, I'm just going to set the Manychat. So I'm going to ask it to wait for new data. So it starts spinning, and then we'll go back to Instagram. So it's saying open Instagram and send a direct message with this 3 digits. Right. Okay, so I'm going to open Instagram on my phone. Perhaps next time I'll connect my phone up, but right. So I want to send a message to auto-re. Okay, so I've got a message, and then I'm doing auto 184. So I sent 184 to auto-re, and then boom, I have it on my Instagram. Next time I'll connect up my phone to the demo, but you just have to believe that that's what I'm doing. So it then kicks off the automation. So I've clicked the button to say yes, I want the info, and then it's come back to say what's my first name. So my first name I'm going to put in here as Ua, and then that goes, and then it says thanks Ua, I will send you first time buyer information. What's the best email address? Actually, can I do it? Is there a way? I don't have that here. Okay. Yeah. So it's now asking me the email to use, and I'm just going to say tester.com. And that goes. They're saying, cool, I'll send this information to you. There says, is this correct? I've said yes. So the email address I've used was tester.com. And where would you like? I've selected Milton Keynes. And then when would you like to move? I've said 90 days. So that's brilliant. Thanks for the useful information. I'll be sending a report on the first time buyer process. So that's all we need. And then hopefully, if we've got this right, then we should. Yeah. So what you're seeing here is Manychat has gone green, right? As you can see, the request was accepted, waiting for data. So it's now received the data. And then if we look in here, you can see that, first name, Ua. I didn't ask for last name. This is just evidence that it was all happening in the background, as I said. Last input data within 90 days. So that was the last thing I put in. But those custom fields that I defined earlier, they're all in here. So we want to move in 90 days and then area of interest. Perhaps I could have named this tag a bit differently. So like we've got area of interest, Milton Keynes. Now you might want to say, what if you have areas of interest? All of that can be built in depending on how interested you are in what's been generated. So now we're in Make. So we've gone from Manychat to Make. So this information has come in, and at this point what we're trying to do now is funnel this information back to through OpenAI and then into our backend solution. So what we do want here is we want to make an API call. So just make an API call. I've already set up the connection. Enter the path to. Okay, that's. It's not true. Is that? 1/v1 models. Just make sure that I've gotten the information correct. Okay, so we're trying to get into the OpenAI. Oops, go back. Right, I'm just pulling information I need to put in for OpenAI and from one other scenario. So these are called scenarios in Make, and what we actually want is to configure this OpenAI chat. Okay, select method. Delete that module. Let's look at the module again. So we're going to OpenAI, create a transcription, create a translation, make an API call, my messaging assistant. Okay, now we don't really want to make an API call, do we? Right. do is create a completion. Then with the completion, I want to create a chat completion. Then we can select our model. In our case, we want to select GPT-4o, that. And then within the messages, we'll select the role, we'll set the system message. So this is us setting the context for the chatbot. So let me just get one from one I prepared earlier. Okay, so your first name capitalizer. So this formats the text that we're getting back from the chatbot itself. So just make sure that things look clean and correct. And then once we've done the system role, we then want to set the user role. And all of this is relevant for ChatGPT. And then our first thing would be, okay, we want to pick up the first name. Where's the first name? That goes in there. Then we just go response. Okay, so that's how the response will come back from ChatGPT, from the model, from the back end. So we're only going to use about 300 tokens there. So the response would be the first name. Okay. So we'll click OK. So once we've done that, so this isn't sufficient to do the entire report for us. So we've only just capitalized the first name, and that's just a bit of formatting. The next one is the bit that actually does what we want it to do. So we go again. With ChatGPT being so cheap, we can afford to use the GPT-4o for the capitalization. But previously you'd use 3.5 because 3.5 was significantly cheaper than GPT-4. GPT-4o, that's something you might keep an eye on, just in case the cost had to spiral. So with this one, we're creating another chat completion. We select the model GPT-4o, and then our system prompt. So this system prompt is essentially where you're telling the ChatGPT what to act as. So you're giving it its persona. And then here, we'll go here. Then we get the user role. So this is just to give you an idea as to what to expect. So here we're saying you'd receive the following information: first name, last name, areas of interest, and that sort of thing. And we're telling it what kind of role it's going to perform and what we're expecting from it. It will complete all of these transactions and all of this querying rather than transactions, and then send back a report to us, and then we can set the number of tokens we expect it to use, so 3,000 tokens, and that's going to be tiny. So this is what it would look like just for now, but typically you would then say, right, after this is completed, now send an email. And then once the email is completed, we then say, or before the email is completed, we can route the information so that whilst it's doing the email, it's also doing other things. So let's have a look at what I mean by that. If we look at another one I prepared earlier, save changes. Let's look at this one that I've tested and shared here. So this one's just a simple webhook. In the last one's Manychat. So the webhook comes in, we pass it through JSON, and then we use a router module to send some of the information to Airtable and another chunk of the information to Google Sheets. And then from Google Sheets, after it's written to Google Sheets, the same information goes into the OpenAI chatbot. So here we're doing the first name, last name changes, and then in here we're doing the the actual query to produce the report that we send to the client. We then use document to generate the actual PDF itself, and then we forward some of that information to the email address. And what we do with the emails, we put the email, a copy of the email that's generated for the report, in the draft folder, and that's so that you can then go in and check that the report is as you would want and contains the information you'd like. And then the final step is to put it in Slack. So this is something that has been done multiple times already, and here's a copy of the report that was generated earlier. So we go in here. So the name was UA Tester, and that's the name of the agency, and it's a first-time buyer report. This is all templatized, so it's very easy to customize this for any lead. If you have 10,000 leads, it will go to the 10,000 different leads, and then the report is generated. All of this information is put in there, and then the key buying thing is, right, if you look over here, all of this information was generated dynamically by ChatGPT in the back end. So important considerations for first-time home buyers. So ensure you have a clear understanding of your budget. So all of this is done through the automation that I've just shared. So if you selected a different region, it would put information from there as well. You can also make this report even more informative by specifying other things. So useful things like 35 minutes run on Houston. I didn't make it do that. It generated all of this information automatically. So this is amazing value that you're providing upfront to your customer or to your potential lead, and they'll be pleased that you've given them this information or something that's useful. Clearly, if it's not a first-time buyer, you probably want to do a different type of PDF or a different type of report for them. But ultimately, provide that value upfront. Have them in your CRM. I'll just copy this. So for this example, I'm using Airtable as my CRM. So if I just copy the link to the CRM itself, you can see that this is the UA tester, that mobile number, interested in sales, the area, Milton Keynes, first-time buyer, didn't have a solicitor, all of these things, ready to move in 9 months, and all of that information. So that's really what we're interested in. So now that we've got this in here with your AI backend or your CRM, you're then able to say, okay, we've got the number, we've got the email address, they'll be moving within 9 months. What does that mean? It means that you need to start nurturing them and sending them different properties that you have for sale or different services that you can offer them in the interim time. You also know that they don't have a solicitor, or they say they don't have a solicitor, and they've said yes to refer a solicitor. So you refer a solicitor. Refer a broker? Yes, refer a broker. So all of that you do in the meantime. So that's what I wanted to share with us today. So this is all about automation, and automating from your website or automating from your Instagram. Both sources of information can generate very useful leads, and the journey that they take will be similar, if not identical. And you can use that to do your lead generation and make sure that you keep those leads becoming engaged and keeping them within your funnel. So that's it for now. If there is any question you have, don't hesitate to leave your questions in the comment section and I'll be sure to respond. So until next time, keep winning.